Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I go by the name Me, Myself, and I. Epic it was. Remember to like and share to this amazing video. I always want to say a very big thank you for always subscribing, liking, and sharing to this amazing videos that I've been doing for you guys. But before I introduce you, thank you so much. I appreciate you liking, subscribing, commenting. I'm here with.
You're here with Sheldon Barracks. I am Jamaican Canadian, and this is my first trip to Ghana.
This is your first trip to Ghana. How is this for you?
It's been amazing. It's been eye-opening. It's been refreshing. I've been here for about 10 days so far, maybe 7 days. And I met so many great people. I just saw Makola Market just about an hour ago, and visited a bunch of restaurants, events. So far, it's been amazing, but there's so much more to explore.
Wow, so much more to explore.
Much more. Like even I went to Cape Coast and I experienced that too. But there's, like I said, there's levels to Ghana I haven't even touched yet. So I'm looking forward to touching it, experiencing it, meeting new people. Met you, Epic. You've been amazing for us today. So yeah, my first time here. Definitely won't be my last. But yeah, I'm just excited about the possibilities of learning more about this culture.
What made you take that decision, bold decision, to visit Ghana?
I'm Jamaican Canadian. Spent most of my life in Canada, growing up North American culture, and I'm married a Ugandan. So I'm married to Uganda for 21 years.
Oh man, that is epic! It was right.
Yeah, being a Jamaican Canadian married a Ugandan, you don't really see that often. But my wife, she really showed me a lot of the side of this continent that they don't really show you in North America, and she taught me a lot. And so when I had an opportunity to visit Uganda twice, the last 2 years, in 2022, 2023, I just loved it. I love the people, the culture, the food. I just love the presence, just being there, being back in the motherland, touching base and feeling the welcome from my wife's family, and even just the people in general. It was amazing, where I felt like I want this to be my home the next 50 years of my life. And so that's where we were on kind of that track where it's like, okay, let's think about living here part of the year and then living back in Canada. And then my wife had an opportunity to visit Ghana last December 2023, and she came here for business, met some contacts, and when she came back home, she said she loved it. It was an amazing experience, and she said, we definitely have to go back. I have to bring you. You have to see it for yourself, meet the people, feel the culture, feel the vibe. She said if you love Uganda, which is her home country, she said you're gonna love Ghana even more. You're gonna love it. Yeah, she said more. Yeah, no comparison for the Ugandans watching. She just said you're just gonna love it, more or just as much. And so I said, hey, let's check it out. Let's put the budget aside for our travel. We love to travel at least once a year, do one big trip. And so we said, yeah, this year it's gonna be Ghana for sure.
It's going to be Ghana for sure. Was it up to your expectation? You 7 days now. Is it up to your expectation so far?
Yeah, it's I didn't really have expectations like that. Like, I mean, I obviously there's a lot that she said about it, but I think for me personally, I just been open to experience whatever it is, right? So I really didn't want to come with any sort of expectations. I wanted to be like, okay, let me be an open book. Let me be like Bruce Lee, just be water, see what happens and flow with it. And it's been good so far. It's been interesting because when I went to Uganda, I met a lot of family. There was a lot of connectivity with family. The pace was slower. Ghana doesn't feel slower.
Ghana doesn't feel slow?
It's slower than North America. But it's because I spent a lot of time in Uganda the last 2 years. It's much faster than Uganda. Yeah. The pace is much better. People are very creative, business oriented. People are very confident here. They seem to know what they want. They go after it. They're not as laid back. So the energy's alive here. Yeah, very alive. Especially here in Accra, it's very alive here. So that's what I've noticed so far. The nightlife is incredible so far. I was at a concert at Soho, I believe, and the artist was Samini. He was amazing. Yeah, he was amazing. Restaurants are incredible. Like
you said you went to Soho.
Yeah, Soho. Had an amazing time there. That was a Samini concert. Visited a bunch of restaurants which were really amazing. Different like different cuisines infused with with Ghanaian culture and other cultures. So far we've done so much. I went to Cape Coast. We went to the castle to see the I forgot the actual name for it, but we saw where the slaves were. Yeah, the castle. I forgot the name of the castle, but it's a castle in Cape Coast where the slaves went on before. Pardon?
Elmina Castle and Cape Coast Castle.
Yeah. So we explored that. That was very heavy. That was heavy, and that was one of the first things we did. Right?
How was it? How heavy was it for you?
It was heavy because as the tour guide was talking about the slaves and the slave trade, you got a sense of, I'm not Ghanaian, but I'm Jamaican, but there's that ancestral history between Canadians and Jamaicans. So I kind of felt that. I felt like these are my ancestors, direct ancestors, and it was heavy. Funny enough, it was heavy and it's hot, and even one young man, he fainted. Probably it was from the heat, but the heat combined with the heaviness of like the stories, it was tough, man. Like it wasn't one of those things where you walked around. Yeah, we took pictures, we took videos, but it wasn't one of those things where you enjoyed it like you're enjoying something fun. It was more so like a deep learning experience, and something that you carried with you. And then you're like, me and my wife even said this. We said, for everything they went through, now we have to do much more because of what they went through. We have to take the opportunity and do much more in our lives and be more impactful with our skills, our talents, anything we have. We have to impact the world because they paid the price. They paid the price for us to have what we have today. So it was heavy. It's something that everyone should experience. So we did that, and then we were in Cape Coast. We did also the canopy walk. Yeah, which it's that's even life. It makes you feel like your life is in the hands of a little bridge. Okay. Yeah, rocking back and forth.
Were you afraid? A bit.
A little bit. I mean, I've done treetop trekking before, and I think when you're in that experience, there's a little bit of fear, but you kind of that these people aren't going to put you through anything that's really dangerous, right? So you're kind of like, it's a little bit fearful, but it's more exhilarating more than anything else. So between nightlife, restaurants, doing some excursions, doing a market today, it's been a lot. It's been a lot in 7 days to take in, and I've had a journal. I've been writing things down. Even me personally, I've taken a lot from the experience so far, and I have 7 more days here.
You say you've taken a lot. What are some of the things you've taken? What are some of the things you're going to take out of Ghana that you're going to add up to your life?
Yeah, I think the one thing I've seen a lot of is just the confidence. Two things that come to mind. The confidence of the people to really hone a craft and then show the world, this is my craft, this is what I'm delivering, this is the goods or services I'm selling to you. And they're confident with it because they know that this is their livelihood, or even just they're proud of what they've done and they want to share it with the world, right? I think where I come from, North America, you kind of have that vibrato or you don't. Me, I'm kind of in the middle, right? Like sometimes I have it, sometimes I'm kind of like, I'm not always confident to share my writings, my stuff. I published a book and I don't always talk about it. And my wife's like, why don't you talk about your book? Like, you should talk about your book more, right? So we can get into that afterwards.
I think we will talk about that one too as well.
Yeah. So that's the one thing. The next thing I learned, and this is one thing my wife taught me, is like, community, right? Like, not everything. Culture in North America is so much, where, you feel like people are out to get you almost, right? Or if someone does something for you, you feel like you automatically have to do something back for them. Or if someone does something for you, it makes you look weak because you should be doing it, And we talked about that, and my wife said, no, the culture here is people just do out of their love for community, for culture, for togetherness. They don't necessarily do something because, they want something back, or you shouldn't feel weak because they did something for you. They set up something for you. You should feel kind of inspired the fact that, they did something, love them for it. And if you have the opportunity to give back, sure, you do, but you don't have to. So that communal sense of giving also is something I've learned, because again, back home, it's sometimes there, sometimes not, right? Whereas here, I've seen it a lot with the people I've met.
Do you think, like in terms like that, people take advantage of that?
You mean like visitors, people that visit? Yeah. I think they could. I think it's possible. I think if you are kind of coming here to say, I'm coming to Ghana to experience the land and what it has to offer, services, the nightlife and stuff, but you're not here to interact with the people, I think that can be problematic, right? Like the land is the people, right? Like you should be interacting with people. You should be getting to know people's names. You should be connecting with people, hearing their stories. You know, if someone does something for you, you don't necessarily have to feel obligated, but you should feel some love to say, let me find a way to bless this person, right? Even though you don't have to, but there should be some motivation to be like, how can I give back in a way, right? So yeah, there's some people take advantage, and that's fine, but I think that talks more about the person. I think as individuals, the good people know that if they feel a lot of love, they have no choice but to give that love back, right?
A lot of people are coming to the country. What are some of the things that you wish they shouldn't take along with it? Coming from North American, in the Canadian, in the Caribbeans and all that.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you wish they shouldn't come with, along with, in terms of the mindset, in terms of whatever that you think they shouldn't come with to Africa?
Yeah, I think when you are, you know, like myself, I'm Jamaican Canadian, I'm from North America. If you're from North America, mainly North America, I can only speak from that. But if you're, you know, from a North American nation and you come over here, you definitely can't have this individualistic mentality that North Americans have, right? And I'm talking from what I know, because I am one, right? And it's easy to pick up because that's the culture. You pick up what you know, right? So I'm not prone to not be self-centered, being very materialistic, because that's a culture I grew up in, right? But having a Ugandan, you know, a wife that's from Uganda, and understanding certain ways that cultures are, when you come over here and whether you just want to visit, make it a yearly thing, or you want to come here and you want to, you know, have a more permanent home, I think you got to leave individualism back home. Like, anyone can do whatever they want. You can live any which way you want. It's fine, but it's not of any value to this for you to come over here and not try and think of even one way that you can reinvest in the country here. The country has opened their arms to say, hey, we're welcoming you into our country as a visitor, as maybe a permanent resident. So wouldn't you want to give back for them opening the doors for you? Because more likely, let's be honest, I'm not going to beat around the bush. More likely, if you're coming from the Western world, you're probably a little bit more well-to-do coming here, and the cost of living is a little bit lower. So when you come here, you're probably going to be comfortable at the very least, right? So if you're comfortable, how can you reinvest in being here? They've opened their doors. They've welcomed you in. What can you do to exchange? So I think North Americans, or anybody, leave your individualism back home, or start thinking about, you know, what tendencies are that don't bring them here. You should be thinking not just what can I get from the country. You should be automatically thinking, okay, like, even if I come here and I work remotely or whatever, how can I reinvest? How can I give back community-wise? Are there businesses I can support on a regular basis? That sort of thing, you know. And it's not even complex. It doesn't have to be, like I said, it could be, instead of going to the mall, what small businesses can I support? If a person's putting on a concert, how can you support that artist, that small artist, right? Things like that. Like, it's easy things, right? So, and then you build from there. But yeah, I think definitely if you come here and you just focus on yourself, you work remotely, you build your house, you know, you go out to eat with your friends, your loved ones, but you don't really find a way to reinvest back in and build connections, I think it's a little problematic, right? And again, you can live your life the way you want, but I think that's not what you should be doing as a foreigner coming to live in a country that's opened their arms to you to say, hey, you can come here, we're good with that, but you should be thinking, how can I give back?
How can you give back? Leave a comment in the comment section. How can you give back? Because he is talking a lot about giving back, and how can you give back? Leave your comments and let's get to support each other, build each other with the talent that you have. You want to bring it over, it's up. We need skills to develop. Yep. You understand? We have so many resources, but how do we do it?
Yeah.
You understand? So you come with an open mind to make sure that we move forward. Well, why is it so important why is it so important that you need to move to Africa? You need to visit. Why is it so important for someone to visit Africa or to make it even their home? Why is it so important?
Yeah, without getting too deep, I think it goes back to, you know, I can tell my story. Like I said, I'm Jamaican, but I grew up in Canada. That's where I grew up, right? And when you grew up in Canada, you're seeing more European culture there, right? There is a West Indian culture down there and community, but I think it's important to come back, visit a few times, consider living here for, if you can afford that, or make a goal to that. I think it's important because it's important for, it's funny, this may come across weird, but I told my daughter this because she just went to Uganda earlier this month, my older daughter, and I told her before she came, I said, it's gonna be interesting because in your lifetime, policemen, doctors, lawyers, any regular service, anybody you've seen is white. And anyone doing anything that you see is white. You may see a few black people here, but majority of people are white, right? So when you come here, it's going to be almost like a shock to your system to see black people doing all that kind of stuff. Black politicians, black police officers, black doctors, black everything, and for it to only be, right? For you growing up in the Western world, in U.S. or Canada, and majority of the people you see in high places or running businesses are white. When you come here and you see black people doing everything, it's a shock to the culture, and it makes you, it's empowering because now you look within yourself and you're saying, there are hundreds of countries that are like this, right? You need to visit here and see what people are doing, hustling, building, manufacturing, building big business, running large corporations, doing legal, you just need to come here and see that black people are doing the things that you've only seen white people doing for your life. And I mean life, like from the time you're young. So when you come here and you see that, it's a different feel. And then you couple that with the fact that it's more communal in these countries, whereas there's a separatist mentality in the Western world, for the most part. Here it's very communal, like strangers will feel like family, right? So that's why when you need to come back here to see where your roots are, to see how the people are, to see that our people are not just subservients like in the Western world. Like, you can look at the statistics. Minorities are not getting the top jobs, right? You have some rising up, but we're not getting the top jobs. But imagine coming to a country where you see only black people doing everything. It's going to be a shock to your system. It's going to be something that's going to be inspiring to you. Like, you're going to think about, wait a minute, I've only been seeing myself on this level in my country, but now I'm seeing big time business and people on this level over here. Now you're inspired. And not only that, you're inspired to learn more about the depth of your culture now, not just the surface stuff, right? Learn about certain plants that have medicinal purposes. Learn about different cultural things that happen, within families, and different things that, different, jewelry and garments that mean different things, right? Prints that mean art that means something different. The history, the stories, right? Now you're learning more that you were taught back in the Western world about your history. Our history starts at slavery, but doesn't go beyond that. When you come back home, now you're learning different things about that, right? So I think it's definitely a need that any black person needs to come back to any African nation that they may be connected to directly or indirectly, and just learn. Just be an open book and learn about. Don't come with a preconceived idea. Come to learn. And it's going to change you, because now you're going to see that there are full nations run by black people. And if you were born and raised in Canada like I was, or in the US, that's something you don't see, right? It's something you don't see. And of course, our media is not going to show us that too, right? They're not going to show us that. And so when you come here, you're like, whoa, this is a shock to the system. So yeah, definitely anyone needs to come here to see how black people are running countries, and that we can do anything. There's nothing we can't do.
A lot of people are just saying that, I'm not born in Africa, my family is not from Africa, so why should I come to Africa? Like, what message do you have for them? Like, a lot of people have been saying that, and it's over and over and over. So what message do you have for them?
My message is, that's the thing. People have too much preconceived notions about a place that they've only got messaging from the country they live in. So now let's go beyond North America, even in Europe, right? Or some other nations that are not African nations. What has their media been telling them about Africa? And now you're of African descent, and you're, or not, and like you said, like, why should I go back? Like, I haven't really, there's nothing there. You haven't been here. How do you know there's nothing here? There's amazing, like, you will unlock so many things that you never knew existed when you come to these nations. When I went to Uganda, it was my favorite time. My favorite time of that trip wasn't Kampala. It wasn't being, Kampala and being in the city and all that. It was going out to the village.
That would say countryside.
Yeah, countryside. Yeah, countryside. Yeah, the village, country, and Jamaica calls it country, right? Going out there was so peaceful, so tranquil, and I met with some of my wife's family. Stayed overnight there, and it was just beautiful. It was just refreshing. Like there are experiences that you will never have outside of Africa that you need to come experience yourself, and you can't go with these preconceived notions. Like, I think social media has been great because now it's opened the door now, and it showed places like Ghana, Ivory Coast, Uganda, different places have these amazing experiences that you can come and see for yourself, and so I think social media has helped now. But yeah, people need to come check out this continent. Like, find a country, whether it's Ghana or someone else, find a country to come and just explore. Like I said, you have to be an open book. You got to take this off, be an open book, and just receive whatever's happening in that country and learn more, and your mind will be blown.
How do we bridge the gap together?
Bridget, that's a tough question. That's a really hard question. I think it takes a lot, right? I think it takes a lot. I think African nations like Ghana need to continue to market themselves globally as a desired destination for business, for tourism, to potentially come and live. I think other African nations need to follow suit. They need to use the power of social media, and they have. I'm not saying they haven't, but continue to use the power of social media to start showing parts of the country to the world beyond mass media will show. Because mass media will still show the political uprising and all this kind of stuff, but they won't show the beauty of the country, the businesses, the technology, the medicine discoveries happening. They won't show these things, right? So I think countries need to, on one side, countries like Ghana need to continue to market themselves globally as a desired destination, as a place that you can come learn, go to school, all this kind of stuff. And then I think on the other side, people that have visited these countries, that have gone back home, they need to be, they need to represent. They need to be, what's it called? What's that word? Yeah, they need to be able to represent and talk about the countries they visit in that light, and use their platform to talk about these countries. Like, I have a platform, I'll use that platform to talk about it. I'm sure my wife will too. She already has on her platform, but we need to be ambassadors. So I think on one side, countries need to, like I said, present themselves globally, and on the other side, people that visit these countries, be an ambassador for that country. Now, don't just go back home, keep your pictures in your phone, and don't talk about it. Talk about it, what I mean? Talk about the country. Talk about it. I've had people come back to me saying, I've never known, when I came back from Uganda, he said, I never knew Uganda to have like 4-star hotels, 5-star restaurants, all these kind of things. I say, yeah, you can go to Uganda, have a 5-star experience, and have a humble experience too. You can mix it up and have both, right? Yeah. You could do that in African nations. People don't know these things, right? Unless you talk about it. And that's why we that experience it, we have to talk about it.